Okay, so now we're looking at Shelbourne Football Club in our Football Club History series. So we're going back to Dublin. Now they're founded in 1895. They're based in the Drumcondra area of Dublin, and they play at Tolka Park, which has a capacity of 5,700. Now they've got a very interesting history because in 1904, 9 years after foundation, they joined the Irish Football League, which also includes clubs that are currently now in Northern Ireland. Obviously, following the Irish War of Independence and the Irish Civil War, Northern Ireland separates from the Republic, which is known as the Irish Free State, and they were found a member of the League of Ireland in 1921. They're one of only three clubs to have won both the Irish FA Cup and the FAI Cup, which is the Republic of Ireland's version of the FA Cup. So they've won both cup competitions in that sense. Only one of three clubs to do it. Now, they were a top flight side all the way from inception. Always part of the League of Ireland, and then when the Premier and Division 1s were brought in, always part of that until 2007, where they lost their Premier League status because of financial issues. The season before, they won the league. So when the financial crash hits and things start going wrong in the banking sector, which actually started with Northern Rock in 2007 but really got bad in 2008, money problems hit and they lose their operating licence to stay in the top flight. But the club did survive and they were relegated to Division 1. They've been a yo-yo club ever since. So the last 17 years have been very up and down. They've had no trophy success, so their success stops dead. But they had great success before then in several spells. Looking at their honours, this is a ridiculous amount of trophies. They've won the League of Ireland outright, be it the Premier Division or the old school League of Ireland, 13 times. The FAI Cup 7 times. The old Irish Cup, which is still played in Northern Ireland, 3 times. And the League of Ireland Cup just the once, which I find interesting. They've only won the League Cup once, considering all their other success. But it's a very, very interesting history because they're very successful pretty regularly up until the 60s, and then there's about 30 years of nothing, and then the 90s and the 2000s are very, very successful, and then the money problems hit. So they got basically 2 spells of success in their history. Same in the Cup as well, very, very successful regularly from the 30s, 50s, 60s. The 90s, very, very successful, and then it stops. And then the old Irish Cup was the decade surrounding the First World War, and then obviously the split of Northern Ireland from the Republic. They leave that competition, so it's a very, very interesting history. So let's go into it. Let's have a look at their honours. So the League of Ireland, and I'm now also including their Premier Division titles, as I say, 13 in total. They win their first league title in the 25-26 season. They win again in the 28-29 season. They win again in the 30-31 season. They win one title during the war, the 43-44 season. They win again in the 46-47 season, the 52-53 season, and then their final trophy in that pretty consistent spell is the 61-62 seasons. We have to wait 30 years, 3 decades, before they win their next league title in the 91-92 season. And then the success becomes more regular from the late 90s through to the mid-2000s. So the 99-2000 season they win again, 2001-2002, and then the League of Ireland and the FAI decide to turn from a winter league to a summer league, and they win the first summer league in 2003, they win it again in 2004, and their final league title before money really becomes a problem in 2006, and then the club goes into financial meltdown, and that's their last trophy, 2006. They've not won for 18 years. They've become a yo-yo club since then. So it's been a very, very long time without success for Shelbourne Football Club. The FAI Cup, again, very, very successful, mostly in the 90s. They really dominated the Irish FAI Cup in the 90s. But they start winning in the 30s. The 38-39 Cup they win. That's when Sligo were runners-up with Dixie Dean in the side. So Shelbourne beat Dixie Dean's Sligo Rovers in that cup final in the 38-39 season. After the war, the 59-60 season they win, and the 62-63 season. And then that's when that period of success stops in the cup. Again, 3 decades between cup wins, because they win again in the 92-93 season, then 95-96, then 96-97, and their most recent FAI Cup was in the 99-2000 season. So 6-7 years before the financial meltdown the club faced. Now, the old Irish Cup, which includes the clubs from Northern Ireland, this is their only trophies that include against clubs from Northern Ireland, was 1905, 1906. The season after they joined the old Irish Football League, 1910, 1911, and the one season, I think, before, or maybe their second last season before being a founder member of the League of Ireland, was in the 1919-1920 season. Now, this is a very tumultuous time in Irish history. When we look at Derry City and then the Northern Irish clubs, you'll see what I mean in regards to the very, very, very chaotic period. It's a very violent period. From 1916 to 1922-23 is a very, very a lot of political upheaval, a lot of violence. There's a war of independence and a civil war, and so there's Irishmen fighting Irishmen. It's very, very complex, but they are one of only 3 clubs to win both the FAI Cup and the Irish Cup, but they never won the Irish Football League, which I find really interesting, and that's a reason for that. The Belfast clubs dominated that competition before division. Before Northern Ireland is separated from the Republic, the clubs in Belfast dominated that competition, and we will get into that when we look at the clubs from Northern Ireland in due course. Now, their biggest rivals are all other Dublin-based clubs, Bohemians, St Pat's, and Shamrock Rovers. They're their biggest rivals in Dublin. But of course, Shelbourne have hit really hard times because since 2007, they've been a yo-yo club. They've never really re-established themselves in the top flight, and they've had no success in that period over the last 17 years. But there we go. So there's a brief history of Shelbourne Football Club. There was a period where they were consistently in Europe from like 95 until 2006. They were there every season, playing at least 2 UEFA sanctioned matches regularly, going through the qualifying stages of the various European competitions. They were regularly in Europe, and then the money problems hit. But there we go. They're not the only club that's had financial issues in their history. We're going to come across a lot more in due course as we go across the European leagues. I have no doubt there's loads in Switzerland at roughly the same time have money issues. We've covered them in great depth. There's been many in England that have had administration and money problems that we've covered in great depth, and in Scotland as well, and Ireland's no exception. Ireland in the late 2000s went through a massive economic downturn that really did hurt Irish football, and as we've seen so far in this history series, many clubs have gone bust and new clubs have come out of the ashes in more recent years. So there we go. There's a brief history of Shelbourne Football Club. Thank you very much for watching. Place your thoughts in the comments section below, and I will have some more content for you guys very, very soon.